Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hotfix, our laser-focused video game podcast discussion show. I'm Kirioth, and with me is Armelius Dynat of the Alpha Legion.
So basically, I'm reading through. I might look like I'm not interested. I'm not interested, to tell you the truth. Anyway, I'm reading through the harsh truth. I'm reading through White Dwarf, and I'm looking at this guy. He's Alpha Legion Armelius Dynat. All the Alpha Legion guys, they have no name.
They are Alpharius. All of them are Alpharius.
What's the other guy?
Omegon.
Something or other. Omegon, yeah. I was going to call him Omegatron, but that's not his name. That's who they are. Nobody knows. So why who's this guy? How's he made a name for himself? It's stupid. It's so stupid. Go away, Games Workshop.
Speaking of Warhammer, though, just before we get into the meat of things, I'm proud of this lad. I completed him the other day. There we go.
Oh yeah,
Mr. What's his name?
Me
of
good pictures of him. Yeah.
He's
Korgorath.
Yeah.
Korgorath.
I'm happy with that. I think that might be the best model I've painted. Like, I've managed to get proper shading and blend going on. Like, especially if you look at the back there. Look at the back. That's not bad, considering that's the first blending I've really done. I'm happy with it. I'll take it. Also,
it almost looks like it's burnt. It's good.
Yeah. Like the sepia, that sepia wash as well, Seraphim sepia, whatever it's called. That on white for bones.
That's what I call it. But it's
quality effect makes it old and weathered.
I put that on. Well, you're not going to be able to see this, but maybe you will. Oh, they're over here. Hang on.
Laser focused video game podcast with a small 40k and Age of Sigmar segment at the beginning, but only because we know you love it.
See this guy, the Prosecutor Prime guy. I don't know whether you can, but can you see? It's hard to see, but that's what that is. That's white with Seraphim sepia all over it for the scrolls.
Makes a really nice effect.
Blend and whatever. But whatever. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, this is supported by Patreon. So if you do like Hotfix and you do like Pubcast, which is its sister show, then please support it on Patreon, because that's how, this is what basically pays us to do the show, because it takes hours to make these things. And we know we're not getting hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube, but we're getting thousands. And if you're one of those thousands and you really enjoy the show and want it to continue, then please go to patreon.com/unit. No, yeah. Patreon.com/unit lost. No, Hotfix.
Hotfix.
Yes. Christ. Everything /unit lost in my mind. Patreon.com/Hotfix. Go there and directly support Hotfix and Podcast. That's beautiful. But if you do support, you get a shout out at the start of the subsequent Hotfix. We've got 2 new people, so I would like to... we've got a new person, and we've got somebody who changed their support tier, which is beautiful. So we've got Ben Picking. Thank you for upgrading your support tier. You won't get a shout out for degrading it, obviously. That would not make sense. And the Ben Hutch, thank you for your support. Beautiful.
As always, if you want to support Hotfix, there's a linky up there, which will appear at the side of the video, and there's a linky in the description right there. If you follow either of those, it'll take you straight to the Patreon page where you can, support us if you want to. And as Star said, like any support that you want to give via Patreon is greatly appreciated. It
even the dollar
keeps
guys.
The show running. So
yeah,
if you want to do that, absolutely brilliant. We've got quite a few things to talk about this week. It's good, but the first thing, we've got to go straight for this, because this was a staple of the channel for a while, and it's good news and it's happy and it makes me glad. This is the fact that there's been some XCOM 2 GAMESCOM screenshots leaked, which look pretty damn quality. So I've switched over to them now, and let's have a look here. So I've got the lad up here, Sergeant Cole Hound Dog Odinson. And he looks...
Yeah, but he's got like a machete or something.
Yeah, he looks pretty mental. And I'm liking the fact that there seems to be a lot more... I say seems to be, there just is a lot more customization, by the look of it, for new soldiers in XCOM, because I like the fact you could change the armor and stuff in the first XCOM. Not the first one, but you know what I mean. But I felt like it'd be nice if we could do more. But it seems there's quite a bit more that you can do here, which is really, really nice. And it kind of shows that the graphics themselves are much improved too. So you've got stuff like the stuff of the incoming transmission here, Convention Centre. In the heart of Cologne, our ground team finds the remains of the old Convention Centre. It seems to be a base of operations for another counter-alien force called GAMESCOM, because that's a direct reference to Gamescom. Despite its private weaponry remaining at the site, we managed to find some usable salvage. I don't know. I'm getting properly excited now for XCOM.
Well, when
2.
you look at the other screens, I'm just skipping through them. Like it's definitely higher fidelity. It's just higher resolution. Everything looks much better. I don't
And
know. It just looks like XCOM. It just looks like, I guess, a natural evolution of XCOM. The UI looks a bit cleaner.
yeah,
It's probably just going to be as simple. I don't think it's going to be any more difficult.
I don't know why,
We've
but
got like an interesting thing I see. It's the red looking screenshot. It's the dark events. So it says we have received intel
yes,
regarding the aliens' current activities. Preparations to foil these dark events before they can be enacted are already on the way. Counter operations will be available soon. And you've got this thing where it's like new alien facility construction in 3 weeks. Next retaliation strike in 1 week. So that must be when they're going to attack us or try and attack us.
yeah,
And you've got like Hunt XCOM. They're preparing to do this. A UFO is trying to find us because obviously in XCOM 2 you are in the Avenger, which is like a repurposed alien supply ship. And then you've got Advent Alloy Padding, which looks a bit crazy. Then you've got a hidden event. So I like this stuff. Like
yeah.
that seems funky. Like
We're kind of getting more kind of small insights into what's going to be happening with the game, and you know what I like. The stuff that we're seeing so far in the screenshots, it looks very XCOM, but I don't know why. I'm getting almost like a Destiny feel for some of the weapons. Like we've had a couple of the screenshots here that have shown the weapons off, and again, it looks like XCOM. It's kind of got that similar kind of design, but I like the fact that there's kind of a good reflection on how things might have changed a bit. Like the weapons themselves look a bit more sci-fi, I guess, than they did in the first XCOM.
they've also got like camo and stuff on them. If you look through like that
Yeah,
shotgun there, he's got the shotgun without, I guess, upgrades on it. It looks like a big thing is having your soldiers personal. Like
yeah.
everyone remembers the series we did. You have like DJ and Mental. They were big guys in mech suits, and that's what you remembered them as, sort of thing. But imagine if you could like customize them even more. You need to form a relationship with these characters. So when they die, you're gutted, and also you don't want them to die. You know, it's like please
Yeah.
don't die.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm really liking. I mean, there's not a huge amount of like, I guess, fresh info from the screenshots. It's more just kind of, look at how nice this game's going to look. But you can kind of glean little things from it. And one of the big things that I'm getting is the fact that you're going to be able to make characters that are like way more personalized than they used to be. Like you'll be able to put someone together who, like from the ground up, that is the guy that you wanted to make, as opposed to that is the guy you could make with the limited tools provided.
Yeah.
And it's going to make it a lot more personable. And I mean, with like with DJ Stalin and everyone, it was like we did what we could with what the game gives you. But I feel like with this, if those characters were to return, they could be made to look like really exceptional. Like they would actually look like a centerpiece.
There's just more customized. Yeah, there's just more customization options. Another thing which makes me laugh is if you look at the third from bottom screenshot, there's like a sectoid punching bag thing in the gym in the guerrilla tactics school.
Oh yeah, I'll show that. Yeah, so you got the guy doing the pull up.
Yeah, pull ups.
And then there's like a
a
sectoid thing with his little belly sticking out. That's quality.
So yeah, XCOM 2. I mean, there hasn't been that much that's come out of Gamescom about it, but I mean, it's coming out at the end of the year, and we know it's just going to be XCOM, more of XCOM, and
the more I'm seeing
it
though, it's like the more excited and the kind of happier I'm getting, because XCOM is one of those games where I still go back and play it. Not all the time. There was a point where I was playing it all the time, but like even whilst we were recording it, I was still playing it. Like during downtime.
I've got to admit, I don't. I have not played it since we recorded it.
I've been like, it's only a little bit. It's only like maybe once every couple of weeks I might load it up for a couple of hours, but I think the main reason it's not more is because it's kind of linear in a way. Like there's not a huge amount of variety. But it's still, like, at its core, it's still a pretty decent game. And if XCOM 2 is going to introduce more stuff, like this dark event stuff, I really want to see more about that. That looks like it could like add something special to XCOM 2. It'd be interesting to see what they come up with for it. So I reckon, speaking of that, well, let's go over here. This is quite a big topic. I like this. So, World of Warcraft, right? We all know it.
Can I just do? Let's just give a disclaimer. This has been recorded before we know what the expansion is.
Yes, yeah. You will undoubtedly see information about the expansion on the channel, but you won't find it in this hotfix because this has been recorded before the big reveal has been done. So we can't comment on what they've said because we don't know what they've said, because this was recorded in the past and you are viewing it in the future. Or yeah, that's how it works. So
Yeah, you'll be viewing it about, I don't know, what do you reckon? It's usually about 7 o'clock,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we're
yeah,
recording it at about 2 o'clock, and their announcements at about 5 or 6 o'clock. So it's
yeah.
just bad timing.
Just missing the window. So this is World of Warcraft subscriptions at 9-year low with 5.6 million subscribers, and they've lost 1.5 million subscribers since March, which, as it says here on Eurogamer, World of Warcraft subscribers dropped down to 5.6 million at the end of June 2015, Activision Blizzard announced in its latest financial report. This makes it the least popular World of Warcraft's been since 2005. Subscribers dropped 1.5 million during Q2, as the game had 7.1 million subscribers at the end of March 2015. As recently as November, it was over 10 million due to the release of Warlords of Draenor expansion that proved so popular it sold 3.3 million copies in a day, which is pretty damn good. Like that's exceptional, really. Apparently, the numbers were even lower during Q2, as Blizzard noted that the Fury of the Hellfire expansion released on the 23rd of June helped stabilise the subscriber number towards the end of the quarter. And Blizzard have teased the announcement of a new WoW expansion, which we'll know about later, this week at Gamescom during its WoW event on Thursday. And as they asked the question, will that be enough to raise its subscriber numbers back to 10 million? And I like that thing at the end because that's set up for a decent...
What you've got here, right? Warlords of Draenor was such a mega marketing thing and such a great premise for an expansion with all the old lore characters coming back. It got everybody to come back. It got me and you to come back. It got loads of people.
Yeah.
That's why it went straight up to 10 million. Then, of course, it became quite apparent that the game had some serious design flaws, things like the garrisons, not enough content. We've covered it time and time again. So people just left. I mean, hell, me and you got the expansion, played it for a week, and then never touched it again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bit extreme, right? For an MMO, we should be playing it all the time. We just had no incentive. We've covered it, haven't we? No dailies, no anything. You just sat in your fucking garrison.
Something that's designed to be addictive in multiplayer, to just quit after a few weeks is like, you have to have messed up. You have to have messed up.
I don't really like saying addictive, although obviously it is designed to be addictive, but just designed to be engaging to a point where you actually want to play the game, not to the point of like log in, click on a few buttons because this is the most effective way to play the game. And yeah, I mean, I've spoke to people who cover World of Warcraft on massive channels on YouTube, and they've said things to me like, "Oh, you know what? I don't even leave my garrison. I'm fully epicked. I haven't even done anything. I just log in 10 minutes a day, send my guys off. Loot comes back. Look at me." What's the point of having the loot if you don't use it? And getting given the loot for free is retarded. Anyway, loads of problems. Is this a shock? Was it a shock, these numbers? No, because of the state of Warlords of Draenor. We covered it last week, didn't we? In Hotfix in a shitload of detail and in other Hotfix before. To go from a point of like a really commanding position, like we're going to make this expansion, which is going to be insane, to we've made it a very good leveling experience for the first time. Because when you do it the second time, it's the same. That's the big problem with Warlords of Draenor leveling. If you think about like, think about Outland, for example, right? When you went to Outland, with the Burning Crusade, there were zones like you could go to Nagrand, you could go to Netherstorm. You didn't have to do both of them, and you could max out. And there were other zones as well which you could do that with, like Shadow Moon Valley. You know, I had characters that when I went through the game didn't even go to Shadow Moon Valley, but then when I leveled up an additional character, they did. You know, there was different options for me to play. It wasn't just this sort of on rails experience. Now, it had pros and cons. The pros to this was for somebody coming back, when I played the game for ages and got level, was it 90 or 95?
90, I think.
Whatever it was. Got a character that they haven't played for ages. Didn't touch like Mr. Pandaria, apart from just to level up quickly at the end of the expansion. Blah, blah, blah. To get those people into that experience and throw them through a leveling experience, which is great, is good. But as soon as they want to do it again and they realize it's exactly the same, they don't want to do it again. People do not want to do the same thing again when there's no risk involved at all. It was cool, but then it went down the hill. Now, what are they going to do? It's pointless speculating because we now already know. You guys know, listening to this, what the expansion is. So asking that question is pointless. Is it a shock to me that they're at 5.6 million subs? It is a shock. To people out there who say things like, "Oh, but it's still the biggest subscription MMO by millions." Yeah, sure. They've also lost 40% of their sub base in under 8 months. That is not good. That is
bad.
Capitulation. Like, Blizzard, WoW may make a load of money and have a load of subs, but that also means it's got a load of support infrastructure and a load of other shit, a load of higher costs. You can't just slash 40% out of a business and just expect it to carry on. Now, this is, I guess, a segue into some other bits of news I know you've got. I mean, all of this information has come from the Blizzard Activision earning report, where Blizzard actually has been making more money year upon year upon year, even though WoW has been struggling recently. It's struggling extremely bad. It's obviously because of games like Hearthstone and stuff like that, and Diablo, which has apparently sold 30 million copies, which is mental.
Yeah, we're going to move on
things
to
like that
after this.
But... Well, I just want to do a quick, recap of what's going on. Blizzard are performing extremely well as a company, but their flagship product is in a bad place. Now, why is that? Bashiok left. He was the head community guy for, I think he started off at Diablo, and then he moved to World of Warcraft. I remember him. He was the guy on the forums, like, in 2004, even before that, right? Why is he left? He's just left the company on the eve of the next expansion. You had Ghostcrawler left, didn't he? Was it Ghostcrawler who works for Riot now? Somebody left and moved to Riot, I know. Where's Bashiok going? Is he going to Riot? Where's he gone? Why are these people leaving? Now, look at Chris Metzen. Look at other people who have now moved on to Overwatch. That is their primary thing. They don't deal with Warcraft anymore. Kiri, he said something quite interesting to me the other day. And he said, I think what's happening is they've stopped playing their game. And it's no longer like, wow, this is our great game. Wow is our great game. It's like we're bored of it now. We've been here for 10 years. We've got this new shiny project Overwatch and whatever else they're working on. We're now working on that. They're not so invested before. And it's almost like they've got, I don't want to disrespect the people working on it, but got like a second-rate team almost. People, not second-rate, that's not fair, but people who are not insanely passionate about it. Because the guys who were there from the start, they didn't know WoW was going to be as successful as it was. It was just like a labour of love, and it took off, and it was massive, and they fucking loved it. But it looks like they've got bored of it now. But I said, where this is going to go now, we don't know. What is the expansion? We don't know. I mean, I think, maybe I'm going to get this right. I think it's going to be a Dark Below expansion with the old gods, so it'll be an underground thing. Yeah. That's what I think. But like I said, you guys already know by this, and I may look like a dick saying that now. But
well, the thing that kind of that's interesting at the end of, I mean, it's only a short article from Eurogamer, but where they ask the question at the end, will that be enough to raise the subscriber numbers back to 10 million? I don't know. I think actually there's a good possibility that it might, but only if they do something like that will seriously appeal.
This is what they got to do. So they walk on. Hello, guys. Warlords of Draenor was shit. Garrisons are gone. We've got rid of them. And then they need to do something with a major character and sell you a ridiculous story for me to go, oh, I really want this game. Like with Warlords of Draenor, I was like, oh shit. Like Pandaland was crap to me. I didn't care. Yeah. But oh shit, you're bringing back all the old crazy orcs. And oh yeah, this is going to be crazy. And then you just shafted me with crap. And then I didn't want to play a game. But I did want to play a game, and I did enjoy playing it up to level 100. Then I didn't want to know. They need to do something like that. But are Blizzard going to do that? Are they just going to carry... You know, I can't see Garrisons just disappearing. It's the thing they've spent loads of money on.
I think,
but it's shit to the game.
But they might have spent a load of money on it, but it's made them lose like millions of subs. Like they've dropped a huge number of subs. I mean, obviously the Garrison is not the only reason people are leaving, but it's got to be a contributing factor. And you know, when people stop their subs, Blizzard outright says, why have you stopped subbing? Like, what is your reason for cancelling your sub? Now, if enough people say, all I do is sit in my Garrison, they're going to sit there and go, we've lost like 1.5 million subscribers since March, and like 30% have said, all they do is sit in the Garrison. Clearly, this is detrimental. Like, this is stupid.
Well, there's just facts. I mean, you don't need the stats, do you? You just look at what the expansion gives you. Warlords of Draenor. It gave you a good leveling experience. It gave you a broken world PvP Ashran zone that doesn't work. It gave you no city like Dalaran. I mean, like when I spoke to people like WoWcrender and whatever, I said to them what they need to do is they need a new Dalaran, and they agree. They need a city where they need to make the game social again because Garrisons took that away. And
Dalaran was like perfect. It was just the right size. It was like, and the fact that you had an instance actually in the city as well with the what was it called? The jail of whatever it is. Was it the prison or something? I can't remember what it was called. But
that was quite good. That instance.
Stuff like that, it's like that brings the community aspect together. The Garrison destroys the community aspect. Can they get it back to 10 million? I think actually, realistically, they could. Like whether it's going to have the longevity to keep it at 10 million, I don't know. But
this is the thing: how many people have played it? Fucking loads. 10 million. It's easy to get back up to 10 million if you can tempt them back. The problem is they've been severely burnt with the last expansion and burnt a
And
little
it's
bit with
keeping
Mr.
them there as
Pandaria.
and it's keeping them
yeah.
there.
But they've been burnt a bit with Mr. Pandaria because there were some features that were not added with that. But Warlords of Draenor has took the piss with like loads of features they announced which were just not even in the game.
Yeah.
So now, when you guys have watched the Blizzard announcement now, they may have made some grand claims. Are they even going to deliver on that? You don't even know. So there's all this like, without them making a definitive statement, an apology or something, and then saying this is what we're going to do and we are 100% going to do this, it's... I mean, look, listen, right, again, I'm going back to speculating what they're going to do with their announcement, which has already happened, so this is stupid, but I cannot see them coming out and saying sorry. They're probably going to come out and just carry on as if nothing's happened with some generic fucking bullshit and just carry on, and it's just going to be like, what are you doing, Blizzard? If they do that, then I'm just going to rip them apart in the video you'll watch later on. But
I'm with you. I'm hoping they actually like own up to it, because what was it when I think we might have been playing World of Warships or something where we were talking about this, and like my theory is genuinely that there comes a point in a lot of these companies, like especially for very long running games, where the people who started the game or initially made the game, they played it. And that they kept playing it, and they kept playing it, and they enjoyed it, and they saw that other people enjoyed it as well, and they're like, these people enjoy the same things I do. But like most people do not play the same game for forever and ever and ever. Like there comes a point where people move on or they want something different, and it's perfectly reasonable to assume that someone whose job is that game is going to eventually be like, I think I'm done. Like I think I'm done with this. And once you become done with playing it, you lose touch with the other people who play it.
You're disconnected.
Yeah,
you
lose sight of what it was that made that game so popular to begin with. So it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if what's happened is the people who started WoW, the people who played WoW, and then like who were building it and playing it at the same time, they've slowly kind of gone, I'm done with this now. I want something else.
I think so.
I need something else, because at some point everyone needs something else. Even like hardcore addicts who are constantly playing the game, they won't play just that. They might have a game of something else, even if it's just for half an hour. It's like a palate cleanser. It's just like, I've done something else, now back to WoW. And so you can kind of see
I've got a really strange relationship with this game.
Disconnect.
I'm really looking forward to what they announce, but I don't care. Like it's stupid. I don't know why I'm so like, what are they going to do? What are Blizzard going to do? Like why would I be invested in their game when I don't even play it?
See,
it's weird, isn't it?
I want an excuse to try playing it again.
I think that's what I'm after, yeah.
I don't want to... I'm not going to play it now because I've played it like when Warlords of Draenor came out, and I didn't enjoy it. It was great whilst we were leveling. We got to the instances, and it immediately just fell apart. And
it was shit, wasn't it? Literally, within a few hours, we were just like, these instances are terrible. We're not doing it anymore.
So, like that for me, that was just crap, and I just stopped. I want them to come out and say, this was messed up. We shouldn't have done this. We are fixing it by doing this, this, and this. And I want their list of features for the expansion to make me go, yeah, okay, I'll give it a go.
Because,
I want them to do that.
Just touching back on with the garrison and such, an overriding feeling I would get when you looked at things, it would it requires this many supplies to build, this many whatever to build, or if you want to produce an item with trade skills in the garrison, you've got to wait an arbitrary amount of time, and it's this like waiting around. WoW was never like that. WoW was like, if you wanted something, you could go out there and try and get it. Go in the dungeon and try and get the loot. That's what I wanted. Not, I've logged in. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow to log in again, and next week I'll get my item. As soon as I seen that, I didn't care. I mean, my garrison, I upgraded it as fast as possible because I had like fucking loads of gold. I had like 40,000 gold or something. Just wasted loads of money, upgraded it, and then when it was telling me I had to go out and get supplies, and I just was like, this is crap, and I didn't want to know. That's not what the game's about. The game needs to go back. Oh, anyway, fuck it. We're not speculating because whatever. Let's talk about Diablo because this is the interesting one. Yeah. So apparently this has sold 30 million copies. What?
Yeah.
It's like the 10th most sold game ever or something ridiculous.
This is, honestly, it is really surprising. And I'd like to know, like, in the comments, is this something that doesn't surprise you? Because it shocked the hell out of me. I mean, this is from Polygon.
I was like...
Yeah, it literally just says Diablo 3 publisher Activision Blizzard has sold more than 30 million copies of the action role-playing game the company announced today. The figure represents worldwide sales to customers of Diablo 3 since the game's debut in May 2012, said Activision in the earnings report for the second quarter of its 2015 fiscal year, which is the most boring sentence ever said ever. Activision's second quarter ended June 30th, meaning Diablo 3 reached the 30 million sales mark in just over 3 years. It does say, actually, it's unclear if the sales numbers apply for just the standalone game or if they also include copies of the expansion, which launched in March 2014. And they've reached out for clarification. We'll update the article with any information they receive. But that to me, that's mental. Like,
This is weird. You know why this is weird to me? Because you don't see that many Twitch streams. You don't see that many YouTube videos, right?
No,
You don't
no.
like. Usually, that's a good indicator as to how popular a game actually is. You just don't really see that. You don't really see loads of people talking about Diablo or anything like that.
Well,
Yet, 30 million. You can see why they continue to keep updating the game because it's a radically different. I mean, it's a really good game now. When it launched, it was shit, and they fixed it.
Well, this
and
is
credit
actually,
to them for that. But 30 million.
We touched on this. We talked about when the new patch hits. I think it's 2.3.
Yeah,
Is
but
it
canonized
2.30?
cube.
I think it is. Yeah, where you can stick items in the cube and then you can get attributes
Like
off them,
rip
stick
it-
them
yeah,
on other
yeah,
items, or
yeah.
you can re-roll the entire thing, which is like the ultimate gamble. And we talked about, could we do something for a video for that? And in the end, we decided no. And it was we decided no because I made this statement, which was Diablo is great to play, but it's shit to record. Because it's not, there's nothing going on. Like, at the end of the day, what you're watching is a guy running around pressing one of 4 abilities, well, or one of 6 abilities, unless you've got passives, and just cutting down endless hordes of monsters. There's no plot. There's no real risk of death. It's all just the hunt for loot. Because if you're going to play the game, then you're going to do it in the most efficient way possible, which means not dying. So
Blizzard, you clearly understand the hunt for loot, don't you, Diablo? So what was you doing with World of Warcraft?
But it's like, normally, as you say, it's like if it's all over Twitch, if it's all over YouTube, you know it's a popular game. Look at Minecraft. Look at Rocket League for a recent example.
look at
Rocket League is
this-
everywhere because it's really popular. Diablo 3.
These are the lists. This is the list, right, of the top 10 games. Okay, we've got. I'll just read them off because I just found them. But we've got Diablo 3 at 30 million units sold, number 10, right? Then you've got New Super Mario Brothers on Nintendo DS. That's just a bit over 30 million. And then like you start jumping up, and you've got like Grand Theft Auto 5, 52 million sold. Minecraft, 70 million. Wii Sports, 82 million. And then Tetris on the mobile, 100 million.
which is ridiculous. But let's put that into context here. Actually, Grand Theft Auto 5 was released on the Xbox 360, the PS3, the Xbox One, the PS4, and the PC. So that's 52 million sales across 5 different platforms. Okay, and it's got the online multiplayer as well. And that will no doubt include people who purchased the game twice because they bought it on the 360 or the PS3, and then they bought it again when it came out on the new gen. I know a couple of people who did that. So that also takes into account people who have bought the game a second time. Diablo 3 is like, yeah, I think it's on both consoles. Or is it just on Xbox One? Or is it on both?
No, it's on both, yeah.
But it wasn't on 360 and PS3. It's not going to have been bought multiple times because if you've got it on the PC, you're not going to be buying it on the Xbox One or the PS4, are you? I mean, realistically, as far as I know, there's no character migration, which is something that GT5 had. So if you bought it on one, you could migrate your character to the other. You can't do that in Diablo 3, which means you'd have to start a new character, which in a way discourages buying it on other platforms. It's just sold 30 million copies, which is crazy. I mean, and
I do remember when it launched though, Diablo 3, it broke the records, didn't it, for sales? Because people were like, because I always remember the BlizzCon where they announced Diablo 3 and it just had the guy playing the Tristram on the Tristram theme tune on his acoustic guitar, and it was just all going red. It was like, what the hell is this? And then it was Diablo 3, and it was like, holy shit! And then it launched, it was bad shit. But then they fixed it.
But then I'd like to know as well, like how. I'd like to see measurements for like how many people still play out of all the people that bought it.
Yeah,
I'd
how
like
many
to see
people
still play it because
this isn't a game you can sit down and play for like 3 or 4 hours. It's like play it for an hour tops. Or even that might be too much. Run a rift, and then that's it. It's like, okay, I've had my fill. But what they've seemed to do now is give you loot. Like when you do these things, it might only be 20 minutes. You're running around a dungeon. You get a very good chance of like viable upgrades or side upgrades. Whereas, do you remember like when it launched, you could just run around for like a week and get nothing.
Take forever, and you'd get nothing. But Diablo, I think as well now. I think now more than when it launched, it's like the perfect example of how to keep a game going, like how to give a game longevity with free updates. Because when you look at what they're doing, it's like none of it is. When I say none of it's new content, I mean like how many new quests, how many new storylines and stuff has been implemented since Reaper of Souls. Like when you actually look at it, it's like nothing. There's not really been anything. However, they've added in stuff like rifts and greater rifts, and you've got blood shards and stuff for that extra bit of gamble in your gamble on the loot table game, whereby, you know, if you have blood shards, you take them to a vendor and you can buy a piece of gear, and that piece of gear could be like a piece of white trash that you're just going to take straight to the blacksmith, or it could be an ancient legendary, or it could be like that one bit of that set that you've needed for the last 2 weeks but never dropped. It's not really added anything in terms of, like, when I say progression, I mean like forwarding the story or forwarding the experience. It's just given you more and more ways to get loot, and then once you've got loot, it's added in little ways to make the loot you want, or just kind of make the game more pleasant to play. Stuff like you don't have to wait for every gem to forge individually. Now it just does it all at once. It's just little quality of life updates and the occasional big thing that on the face of it is like, holy shit, this is a new development, but really it's not. It's like when you look at the cube, it's like, okay, that's awesome. You can re-roll everything on the item. You can just re-roll the whole thing. You might be at risk of losing a decent item and getting a shit item in return because all the stats are wrong and you've got like terrible actives or passives on it. But you can still do it. But then again, when you look at that, that's just an extension of the fact that if you take your weapon to the enchant woman, you can re-roll one stat.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, it's like, holy shit, this is a big thing. It kind of is, but it's also just an extension of a mechanic that was already in the game. And it's little things like that they've done all the time. And I would love to know how many people log on to that game every day and still grind it out. Because based on the number of sales it's had, I kind of feel like it would still have quite a big player base. But I don't know if there's any way of knowing if that's true or not.
I mean, it says Diablo 3 was the best-selling PC game of all time, right? And I'm sure it had something like 20-odd million, 18 million sales before Reaper of Souls hit. Yeah. And then that obviously went up by like another 10 million or so. The thing here, though, is I would buy the expansion when it comes out.
Yeah.
And that means they've won because they got more money off me again. You know, so
yeah, I would absolutely like if they
if I was buying the game. Okay, I've got to clarify. If Blizzard give me the games for free, but if I was buying the game, then yeah, I would buy it again. Like, I don't play this. Last time I played it, well, I can probably find out on my Battle.net 6 months ago. I don't know. Yeah. That's probably the last time I played it. But when the expansion comes, I know I'd want to play it again because I know that it's such a polished game now, and it's so nice, like with all the little bits and pieces. You are going to have a funny time, an enjoyable time running around blasting some mobs, because the best thing Diablo's got going for it is the combat feels amazing. It really just feels like really meaty as anything. It's like, Christ. It is weird, though. It did shock me. I've got to be honest, though. It did shock me, them figures. But like I said, all this came out from their earnings report, where like Hearthstone is making a shitload and has got like an insane number of players. Heroes of the Storm's doing quite well. Warcraft capitulated, and Diablo apparently just sold so much you can't even believe it.
It is just incredible. I mean, the Hearthstone thing is, I can understand that it's a collectible card game that kind of broke into a market where there wasn't really a simple alternative to it, and it's very easy to understand. And I know it's just full of RNG, but it's just an easy game to play. Diablo is like
but Diablo has to have made more money.
Yeah, but it's crazy.
It has to have made more money because you're talking about a price of entry game here. You're not talking about something you just download and play away.
Yeah, true.
I mean, admittedly, I've spent like maybe 30 quid on Hearthstone, but I would have spent 60 quid on Diablo.
I bet there are a lot of people who've spent hundreds on Hearthstone. I bet it's got some right whales out there.
But if you sold 30 million copies of the game at like a conservative $30 each,
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
made a shitload of money, really. So I don't know. Long term, obviously, Hearthstone would be more profitable. Yeah, and obviously, World of Warcraft is the most profitable. It probably still will be the most profitable if it went down to like 2 million subs or something.
That's actually something that's kind of I meant to say before, but there was I can't remember which news site it was, but one of them said dropping to 5.6 million subscribers is a problem that like every other MMO in the world would love to have, because it's still 5.
But this is the same attitude I tried to address earlier on, where that's fine, but this is such a large game. It has more, like, in terms of overheads and all the rest of that stuff. Yeah. So dropping down in numbers is never like I hate people who use that as a.
It's obviously
not people good. Who say that.
It's not good.
I've seen it on Reddit and all these dickheads, and they turn up and they're like, "Oh yeah, but it's got 5.6 million. Oh, it's doing fine." It's like, No, but you've lost 40%. Like I said, if you lose 40% of your goddamn player base, you're an idiot. You've shafted yourself. What have you done? It
Yeah.
might still be okay because we're making hundreds of millions a month or whatever, but it's not. It's not because you were making.
It still means
40%
shit decisions. It just doesn't mean
Oh,
the death
yeah,
of the
yeah.
game. It's like,
No, the game ain't going anywhere.
yeah. So we're gonna move on to Destiny here, which is
Destiny?
to Destiny, the Taken King,
Okay.
the expansion for Destiny.
I know Dinglebot ain't a thing anymore.
Dinglebot is gone. Nolan
Dinglebot.
North.
I called him the Dingles from
The
fucking
Dingle.
Emmerdale.
Christ.
Jesus.
So the Taken King. There's one big thing in here which I'm gonna try and find for you. Obviously, Dinklebot's gone. There was a hilarious discussion on Reddit about whether that was down to Peter Dinklage being a shit voice actor or whether the script was just terrible and he was given no direction. I like to think it was a bit of both.
Come on.
An actor, terrible at it, and the script was shit.
No, he can't have been. You know what they've done? They wanted him to be sterile and robotic, and that's what he's delivered. And they've okayed it, and it was just so sterile and robotically shit.
Yeah.
This is a guy you're watching on Game of Thrones, and then suddenly you watch him go talking like that. It's just like. So I don't think it's his fault. I'm going to defend him and say I don't think it's his fault. He's going to take direction. He hasn't just been thrown in a room and gone whatever. But it's a good decision to get rid of him because it was boring. His delivery of the dialogue as the ghost was just terrible.
Yeah. This is a long article, so I just tried to skim through and find the bit I was looking for. But what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to summarise a little bit because this is worrying because it's making me want to play the game, which I didn't think I wanted to play Destiny anymore. But there's one big change which could get me playing again, and that is light levels will disappear for the Taken King. They will be gone. There will be no such thing as light levels anymore. So at the moment, the way you progress in Destiny is you level up to the level cap, which I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
20, ain't it?
Is it
I think
20?
It's 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get gear. Like you play the game, you get loot, and the gear has like light level on it. And the more light level you've got on the gear, the higher level you become by extension.
Yes.
So you'd like the level cap is 20, but you could be like level, I don't know, 31 or 33 or something with the latest expansion it goes up to, which obviously means that you're only level 20, but all the gear you've got puts you at an effective level of 33.
Yeah,
they're ditching that system. They're getting rid of it. So that instead of it just being like, I've reached level 20, now I've got to fuck about finding gear that's got a higher light level than what I've got, etc., etc., the level cap will be 40, and that will be the level cap, and your character is level 40. Your character isn't level 20, and you've got 20 levels worth of gear. You are just level 40, which it only seems like a small thing, but it kind of changes the entire progression system for the game. Because the way that you can build up light level on your gear currently is that you can upgrade your gear. So like it might start out with a certain light level, but like the more leveled up your gear becomes and the more you upgrade it, using various reagents you find around the different planets and so on.
Yes, so they would drop off bosses, and also you'd have to farm for them, like just running around trying to find them.
Yeah, like going on massive chest runs and stuff. That's all going to disappear, which surely is going to make the game a lot more, like, I guess, standard progression. So, like, a lot more like Diablo, for instance. Because at the moment, it's just a case of, the
game is Diablo.
The better gear you've got, like, the more damage you do. Yeah. Which is the same for any RPG. But the difference with Destiny is that the actual level of your character is tied into the level of your gear and how upgraded it is. And if you switch out one piece of gear for another piece of gear that's not been upgraded, you drop a level, which actually affects how much damage you do just, like, as a whole. It's a complicated and kind of, I guess, unfriendly system for people who are, I was going to say new to the game. I'm assuming it still sells okay because they're still releasing stuff for it. And let's face it, it was designed to keep going until they released the second one, which I think is going to be happening in 2016. And we've got something else about that as well. Anyway. But that's quite a big change. For the game to have launched with that system and then, like, 2 expansions in, like, just take that system and throw it away. And how does that reflect on current gear as well? Like, that's what current gear is built around. So, I don't know. It's kind of, I like the idea of it because it makes it a lot more, I guess, friendly, but less irritating, I suppose, to progress and to get to the level cap. Because I know it's just a different system of like, you hit the level cap in WoW, but you can't raid until you've got a certain amount of gear. It's a similar system in Destiny, really. It's just it's been split kind of, I guess, unnecessarily into your level is not the actual level that you need to be to do the quests that you need to do to get to the raid, because your level is like 17 levels below what it should be, but you get those levels in a different way. It's like it's convoluted, ain't it? It's like it doesn't really make that much sense, and it kind of means that progression and stuff is tied into upgrading stuff. So if you find something that would be better than what you've got now, I think I saw this was a complaint that I saw on Reddit a while ago, where some guy was saying, well, I've got this thing and it's been upgraded like fully, but I got this other weapon, and if I upgrade that fully, then that'll be way better than what I've got, and I've like an extra light level. But if I put it on now, I go down like 2 light levels, which is totally shit, because it means I've lost progression, because I'm switching out to something that in like 4 months' time will be better once I've ground out all the reagents and done all the upgrading. It just makes it a bit simpler, and that's kind of, I guess, attractive to me, because it kind of might take away that feeling of just sitting there grinding. Like the loot
Any
cave
RPG
thing, it was just
or
for,
MMO or anything like that should always focus the leveling of the character, not using gear to upgrade them. Because when you play the game as that character, that's your character. This is my Guardian. He's level 20. He's level 22. He's level 23. He's level 24. He's much better than this is my Guardian. He's level 20. But this gear he's got makes him more effective in combat. Which you can kind of understand how it was done, because it is sort of like running around with like epic gear on, like, oh, that guy's much better, his light level is higher, but he's still level 20 the same as you. If he gave you his gear, if he could do that, I mean, you can't do that in Destiny, but if he could, he would be as good as you. There's no like, and I think it would be easier for tuning difficulty as well. If something is just for level 40 characters, they're probably going to do more damage anyway, just with the same weapon a level 20 would have, because they've, I don't know, got enhanced bullet damage stats or something. I don't know. It makes more sense. Destiny for me, though, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at this PC Gamer thing about the possible PC launch thing, and it reminds me of, there was a leaked statement, I remember, before Destiny came out, which did show the 5-year plan for Destiny. And I think it was Expansion 2 or something like that, was listed as PC launch.
Yeah. And that could still be true. It depends on what they're classing as an expansion, doesn't it? Because we've kind of had 2, but I think one of them wasn't like a full.
They're not
like a full expansion, so to speak.
Yeah, they just. But basically, what Destiny does is Destiny gives you little bits of new content and charges you the price of effectively a monthly subscription to an MMO, while not charging you an MMO subscription. So by keep drip feeding you the content, you need to keep buying it. So you keep buying it. So you're basically paying a subscription, and therefore you're playing an FPS MMORPG dungeon crawler on your console. That's what you're doing. Taken King is the first full expansion.
Yeah.
It like whatever they class as a full expansion. It's not just a little bit of like an adventure pack, for example. It's like a full expansion. But as you say, what Destiny entails, I don't know.
Well, something else.
But I know
this article that's interesting.
I'd play the shit out of this game if it was on PC right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
When I said before about like simplifying things and making it easier and more like kind of player friendly, it does actually say here that.
Oh shit! My alarm's gonna go off. Hang on.
Oh, it's not gone off yet. I'm waiting for it. Don't worry, I'll mute him if it's too loud.
It's okay. I pulled the power out of it. Jesus Christ. Did you see its little red light flashing?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw the little red light. But yeah, so with the whole simplifying things, it does actually say here, streamlined material and mark systems mean that Vanguard and Crucible marks are now just legendary marks. So before, like, when you went on like Vanguard strike missions, you get a specific currency.
That was confusing as shit.
And when you went into Crucible, you got a different mark. Now you just get one mark. So it's the same for class-specific materials gained from dismantling items. So you have like, I think like Titan had one type, and Warlock had another type, and Hunter had another type. Now it's just armor materials. That's what you get. It's like that is what that is. There's no kind of different stuff, which will obviously make it a hell of a lot less confusing. Reputation stuff's been simplified as well, so you won't need to wear faction items or pledge allegiances. You can just
collect the quests as well. I remember that you'd like collect stupid faction quest things.
It looks like you can kind of up your reputation because you can build it with stuff like motes of light and things. So reagents that you get around the place can be traded in for reputation. It looks like they're just making it a hell of a lot more friendly. like just making it easier to understand, easier for a new player to pick up, because it is just you play strikes or you play PvP, you get this stuff that you can buy gear with. If you want to upgrade your gear, then you just dismantle that bit of gear.
Upgrade
and
your
you get
beer?
this thing, beer. If
Can
only.
I upgrade my beer?
But yeah, the other thing that's Destiny related is that PC Gamer have reported this, which is Destiny Studio Bungie is hiring for something PC related. And they just say, don't jump to any conclusions yet, wannabe Guardians, but according to a new job listing, Destiny Studio Bungie is looking for a PC compatibility tester. The advertisement, published on the careers page at Bungie.net, seeks people who can evaluate PC hardware-specific features and ensure various systems work together across multiple PC configurations to provide a great experience.
Wow.
Which is very PR speak. Well done there. Does that mean Destiny is coming to PC? Honestly, I don't know. The game's first major expansion, The Taken King, is due in September, and later on they do say that Destiny 2 is expected toward the end of 2016, so we don't really know. I think, honestly, we just said this multiple times, it makes sense for Destiny to be on PC. It just does. Like, any concerns that they have about putting it on PC, I don't know why they wouldn't. They can't, they can't complain about, like, piracy. The entire game's online. So the chances of people being able to play it without buying it is incredibly slim. Like, I don't even really see how that would work.
No, you can't. You'd have to do it on private servers, which...
If people really wanted to hack stuff, it's perfectly possible to do that on consoles if you really want to do it. So that side of things is kind of already taken care of anyway. And of course, again, it's all online. So the chances of it actually happening are slim and easily fixed if it does. A mouse and keyboard for a first-person shooter is just a damn sight better than a controller all round. And if there's one thing that I think pretty much what the PC lacks, and in fact any console lacks, aside from Destiny, is like an FPS MMO. There just doesn't really seem to be that many of them about. There are plenty of FPS games, don't get me wrong, but...
So there isn't. No, there isn't. Honestly, there isn't an FPS.
I mean,
there isn't an FPS.
Borderlands, and that's
no, but...
And even that's
an
not
FPS,
MMO.
An FPS MMO, you've got PlanetSide, right? But that's not what Destiny is. Destiny is a PvE game. Destiny is basically an FPS World of Warcraft. That's all it is. Yeah. And I don't know why somebody hasn't done that before. I mean, I know there was like Global Agenda was tried by Hi-REZ. I mean, that wasn't too good, although that was kind of third-person-y. But it's just... If the game launches on PC, it will be a massive seller.
It really
and
will.
like I said, I will play it.
It will do really well.
And I'm not even ashamed to admit it, because I quite enjoyed playing it on the console, but I would play that. I would really get into that. So,
I mean, the Taken
Why I want
King
Overwatch, although that's not really the same, but I just want an FPS game. That ain't Counter-Strike.
I mean, the stuff about the Taken King has made me interested to play Destiny again on the PS4, and FPS games on console are a bit shit. So if it was on PC, I'll just play it. I'll play it all the damn time, because at the end of the day, it is an enjoyable game, and it makes a lot of sense to be on there. So, fucking, why isn't it already, you bunch of...
Well, it's FPS Diablo as well, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it really is. It scratched that itch as well. So on to something completely different here, and this is it's ridiculous. Fake swatting prank leads to popular Twitch streamer getting banned. My apologies. He also does YouTube stuff as well, which I got confused. So this is a guy called Trick2G, who, if you don't know who he is a League of Legends player, and he does various guides and he streams all the time for League of Legends. And for some reason, to commemorate getting 800,000 followers, he decided to fake being swatted, because that's, the sensible thing to do. And now Twitch has banned him. Twitch has banned the guy for fake swatting himself.
Show the video, bloke. Play his video. I've got his little Trick2G gets swatted live. It's at the bottom of the Eurogamer article.
Yeah, I've
fucking play that full screen. Let's have a laugh at this. It's so fake. Count me in some so I can time myself. Hang on. You bastard.
Hang on. We'll start it again. We'll start it again anyway, because it started out in a small window. So 3, 2, 1. So there we go.
He's laughing. He's laughing, look.
Yeah. Swings a punch at the guy.
If you would swing a punch at a copper.
Yeah. By the way, that's a genuinely horrid overlay. Sorry.
Yeah. What the hell?
Really bad. So yeah, he's as a way to
Somebody
celebrate
tipped him.
to getting a load of followers, he pretended to get swatted because that's funny. Apparently, I to him at least. I just noticed there is a guy there called Barry Scott, which just made me laugh.
That was just terrible.
So the thing is, people have actually said, especially fans of his channel, have said things. Oh, I don't understand why he got banned. He shouldn't have got banned. Well, yes, he should. Sorry, but he should. It's like someone made the comparison that ages ago. We're talking maybe a couple of years ago now. Athene challenged Alex Ich, a professional League of Legends player, to have a one-on-one.
Osco 5-man.
Yeah, to decide who was the best Ryze in the world, because it's Athene and that's what he does. And he did it, and then obviously he was going to lose because Athene is not a professional LoL player. And
is Athene still a thing?
Apparently so. It's surprising, but yeah. But he faked getting swatted. Like he had someone like come into the room and put a gun at him, and then the stream went dead, and he was like, "Oh lol Athene," and all that kind of thing. And people were like, "Well, I mean, Athene didn't get banned when he did it." It's worth pointing out at this stage that when Athene did it, people being swatted wasn't really a thing. Like, it wasn't a common occurrence. It wasn't like every few weeks you saw someone either threatened to be, being threatened to get swatted or being swatted. When he did it, it was like it was just like a weird, crazy, oh, this is what Athene does kind of thing. The culture for streaming and the risk of being swatted has changed significantly since that point. Like, it's not really a joke anymore because it happens. Like a horrendous amount, really. And what's his name? Team 2G manager, Cher Gambino, which is that really their name?
Cher Gambino
was adamant that this prank was clearly a joke and just another piece of sketch comedy on an already ridiculous channel. On Team 2G's blog, Gambino offered the following statement on the gang in question. I'll put it on the screen so that you can so you can read it with me, so you know I'm not making it up. First, we would like to thank everyone that came by to Trick's 800,000 followers stream. For those that were not able to make it, we had giveaways, Sailor Girls, Pirate Girls, a singing bear, a balloon gifting pig, and yes, an extreme fake ending for an extremely entertaining Trick 2G stream. Trick is an entertainer, and that's just how it is. He streams 12 to 14 hours a day and brings constant laughter throughout each and every stream. Trick is known for his my way streams and off-the-wall attitude. Now, I know some of you are saying, Cher, it is not funny to make a joke about being swatted. There is always someone that thinks only their sense of humour is what matters, and if they don't think it is funny, then it couldn't possibly be. That is why our country is in the shape it is now, because we fear making light of anything that might be thought of as controversial, which is a fantastic get-out clause. To take that stream ending serious is absurd. Trick was laughing, the person used was not in disguise, apart from the fact that he was wearing like a police SWAT vest that said police on it and was pointing a gun at him. I just thought I'd point that out. And was the same person who was on the stream all day yesterday setting up cameras and assisting the stream. The ending was scheduled for 3 PM, which again, if thought processes were used in any way, one would know that a SWAT team would not wait until the end of a stream to engage. That doesn't make any sense at all. We don't have to always be politically correct to have a sense of humour, and we don't have to hide the fact that we think something is funny simply because someone might not. We will not live in fear of our sense of humour, but we will apologise to those who feel theirs is the only sense of humour to have. This is pathetic. I'm starting to regret reading this. It's making me angry. To those of you who enjoyed the theatrics about the 24-hour stream, we thank you. To those of you who are offended by the ending, we apologise, but together we thank you for supporting the stream and look forward to the 1 million follower 24-hour stream. I'm thinking of a whale jumping out of the water to eat him, and I will check first to see if this would offend anyone. So that was actually a mistake, because this guy comes across as a massive knob end, frankly. Firstly, it doesn't matter if they think it's funny, because if Twitch doesn't think it's funny, and if Twitch thinks it's offensive, and if Twitch says it's against their rules, Twitch get to ban you anyway. So really, that's a completely relevant point.
These people don't seem to understand that you're using Twitch's service platform, therefore you agree to their terms and conditions, therefore you play by their rules. You can't just do what the fuck you like. I mean, men cannot take their fucking tops off on Twitch, for example. That's grounds for having your channel terminated. So what about if I was running around with my top off because it's funny? Oh, it's fine. It's my 100,000 follower celebration. I'm going to take my top off. Woo! No, because that's stupid, and Twitch could fuck me over for it.
And in
Why would
fact,
you even do it?
this was stupid, and Twitch fucked them over. And
And rightfully so.
I hate this whole thing, right? This is something that really needs to stop. This whole thing of, oh, well, if you don't find it funny, then maybe other people did. That's not really the issue here. It's not the fact that people found it funny or didn't find it funny. It was a fucking stupid thing to do. You were doing it on someone else's service. Someone else, the person who owns that service, has the power and the discretion to be able to punish you for doing something that they deem to be irresponsible, unsafe, or against their terms of service, or against their rules. You did something that was against that person's wishes, so you got kicked and you got banned, because that's how fucking private services work. You have no fucking rights here. You can't sit there and go, oh, well, I mean, just because Twitch found it offensive. Well, yeah, Twitch found it offensive. You're gone. That's how it works. And I hate, and also things like the ending was scheduled for 3 p.m.
We've got to talk about a level of immaturity here, though. I don't want to have this as like a slight against League of Legends streamers or people like that, but these are young people, right? These are like 21, 22. He doesn't look that old, this guy. He can't be. He's playing League of Legends like an addict 15 hours a day or something, it's reporting here. Yeah. 12 to 15 hours a day, something like that. He's going to be an idiot. and this is no longer the fucking age where you can just be an idiot on things like Twitch. In the past, you could be, because it was a joke operation. I hate to break this to you, it really was. Amazon now own Twitch, and Amazon are one of the world's leading corporations, a multi-billion-dollar company that bought Twitch for $1 billion. I mean, hell, just recently they forced everyone who is a partner to fill out complex and detailed tax forms for the IRS. Didn't have to do that before. Now you do.
Something that's really worth pointing out here is, this Gambino guy has given a massive statement to Kotaku and has said, oh, well, if you don't like it, it's just you're against a sense of humour, but, not everyone has got the same sense of humour as you, blah, blah, blah.
Fuck off.
But this is the thing that really, these last couple of lines, this is the telling thing. When asked for more information about the suspension, a Twitch representative told Eurogamer, we don't comment on terms of service violations. And that says it all. It doesn't matter if people, in a way, I mean, it is offensive and it is fucking stupid. It was pointed out down here. Swatting is certainly no laughing matter to Joshua Peters, a RuneScape streamer whose 10-year-old brother answered the door to a SWAT team pointing guns at him earlier this year. That's not really all that funny. I mean, if you find that funny, there's probably...
Well, I mean, being a dog lover, this is the law for swatting. Well, swatting is the term used, but when a SWAT team breaks into your house in America, if there is a dog and the dog is barking, now shoot the dog. Because obviously they're using quite a lot of force there, and that's a bit ridiculous, and maybe they should be a bit more calm. But think of their situation, yeah? Why would a SWAT team be called? Because there's somebody with a gun, right? So they're going to think, right, we've got some aggressive person in this place. Yeah. We've got a report. We're going in. They kick the door down. Shoot the dog, fucking run in. And you don't want that. And, could easily happen.
It's regardless of whether you find it funny or not. I mean, if you do, then I don't really know what to say to you. Or whether you agree with it or not. None of that is actually relevant. Like, much though I don't find it funny and I think it's fucking stupid, the fact that I don't find it funny and think it's stupid, in a way, doesn't matter, because Twitch says, it is not funny, it's stupid, it's against the rules, don't do it, oh, you've done it, you've got a ban. So, these regardless of what your views are, you're still going to be told to fuck off because it's Twitch.
Immature fucking central again. These guys are probably fresh out of school. And at school, you could be a little shit, and a teacher might tell you off, and it'd be fine. But when you come into the big bad world, and there's laws that you have to live by, and when you're using the platform, and they've got laws, and you decide to just do what you like, because it'd be funny, I'll be let off because I'm such a big streamer, then you get kicked in the bollocks and sent off to a fucking pit of hate, then that's what happens to you.
And this actually, I wish I'd actually found the link for this, but I'll just briefly touch on it. There was another thing recently from SDGC, which I always struggle to... No,
San Diego something or other.
No, Games Done... Q.
Oh, Summer Games Done Quick.
That's it, Summer Games Done Quick. There's so many just acronyms, it's just impossible. And there was a guy on there who did a speedrun of... I've forgotten what it was. But he was
the guy who was trying to make, like, jokes or something.
Yeah, he thought he was being funny. But he wasn't being funny because he was saying stuff like, I'm going to become a psychopath and kill everyone at this convention, and I'm just going to murder people, and making various comments like that. Now, the speedrun convention was done in support of Doctors Without Borders, which is a fantastic organisation, and all of the money that was raised went to them. This person got banned from the convention. They can't go back to GDQ in any capacity for quite a while. I think it's like 4 years or something I read somewhere. And And he, of course, has said this is bullshit. It's not on. And his Twitch, I think his Twitch account got banned for I think 4 months or something. And he's raised a fuss, and he said this is not acceptable. This is just how I am. If you don't like it, etc., etc. It's just my sense of humour. I wasn't being serious. Blah blah blah. And again, this is exactly the same instance. Doctors Without Borders affiliated themselves with GDQ, with Games Done Quick. GDQ affiliated with Twitch. They are all working together to do what is supposed to be a completely family-friendly experience designed primarily to raise money for a charity, the charity being Doctors Without Borders. Doctors Without Borders do not want to be associated with a guy who, to try and be funny, talks about how he's going to kill hundreds of people at a convention. That's not a funny joke, particularly. The way it was delivered wasn't funny either. And Doctors Without Borders are not going to they're not going to want to be associated with that because that tarnishes their public image. So when he gets banned for doing that and for making those statements, and all he can reply is, I was just being myself, unfortunately, in the real world, when you are effectively working for an organisation or on behalf of an organisation or in partnership with an organisation, you can be yourself. And if being yourself involves saying stuff that in a climate that we have at the moment, with mass shootings in America all the goddamn time, people getting swatted on Twitch all the goddamn time, if your humour revolves around, I'm going to kill people because I'm nervous, the organisation you're affiliated with are well within their rights to tell you to fuck off. And they will tell you to fuck off. And you can complain all you like, but unfortunately, when you sign the agreement, when you agree to work for them, or with them, or in partnership, or with affiliation, whatever the relationship, you agree to a certain set of, like, moral standards and rules that they have laid down. If you then break it...
They don't read them, though.
Well,
this is the thing.
shit.
They're just like, oh, I'm just going to stream, fuck you.
And it's just... It's stupid because...
It's win-win all round here. Twitch have to do this because you can't let major streamers get away with it. The major streamer's been, like, shocked, so he's not going to do it again. And any other idiots who were thinking of doing it are not going to do it because, you know, Twitch are going to sort you out. So
it's like, I mean, we are... A really simple example is we are on YouTube right now. You are watching this on YouTube, most likely. If I pulled up, like, a video on Live Leak of some guy getting beheaded whilst playing, like, I don't know, 50 Cent's latest single at full volume over the top, we would
with your top off.
With my top off, we would just get removed from YouTube. We'd be gone because we'd have copyright violations, we'd have community standards violations, we'd have outright terms of service violations. But we're not going to do that because we are on a third-party platform that we're effectively in a partnership with, which means we have to abide by their rules. So we do that. If we break the rules and then they fuck us over and we go, oh, we're just being ourselves, that's not a defence. Sorry, but it's not. You've already broken it, you've already fucked up, and you've been punished for it. No matter how much you say, oh, I was just being me in your own time. Like, if you want to stream on your own platform and be you, with no risk of getting shut down, with no risk of anything like this happening, absolutely carry on. If you're going to do it on Twitch or at GDQ or anything like that, well, you got to face the fucking music, haven't you? So just don't do it. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating, and especially, I mean, the thing that statement pissed me off, but it did just remind me of the guy from SGDQ, because it was the same kind of thing. It was like, oh, that's just my humour. It's not relevant.
But it's like you do get awkward people, introverted people around games, don't you? And whenever they come to the front, you know, I tweeted yesterday on Twitter, thank God for Twitter's block functionality, because some of the things I get sent to me are just weird. And I'm just like, I don't engage with people. I just block them straight away as soon as I see it. And it is strange. And it's like, why would you send that to somebody? You know, that's weird. You know, they must be weird people, I guess. It's just one of them things. I mean, like, for the guy to sit there and make jokes about mass killings and stuff like that, he's obviously awkward as fuck. Everybody else in there is going to be fairly awkward. So it's just a recipe for disaster. But I just do think that a lot of these people are immature as fuck, and they don't understand that it's not just about doing whatever you feel. There is no defense like, oh, that's my humor, or this is how I am, I can't help it. It's like, no, that's just dickhead behavior.
That's not how it works. When you get into actually doing stuff with other people or other organizations, it just doesn't work like that. And in a way, it's unfortunate that they have to learn the hard way. But on the other hand, if that's the way they have to learn it, then I suppose that's just the way they're going to have to learn it. Anyway, on to something like, let's go a bit less ranty and angry. This is, although it could be, this is Hi-REZ Studios, right? They are they.
Okay.
You know them as the lads who created Smite, Tribes Ascend, Global Agenda. They have announced Paladins, which is a free-to-play online shooter. So this is interesting. It's essentially, it says in the YouTube video here, how Smite creators' new game channels Team Fortress.
So Hi-REZ.
And what it is essentially an arena shooter. So think Team Fortress 2, think Overwatch, think Battleborn.
I'd really like it if you could essentially tell me what this game is.
Did I say essentially again? Oh,
About
dear.
3 times.
Really?
In one
Christ.
sentence. Jesus Christ,
So-
man.
And you haven't even said chat so far.
No, I'm recovered, bloke. I went to rehab.
At least I haven't said all in all. So yeah, it's another FPS kind of
Right,
arena
fuck
shooter.
it, bloke.
And
I'm on Twitter and I'm like, Jesus Christ, are we entering the new era of no longer is it a fucking WoW copy, it's going to be a fucking Overwatch copy. Look what we've made. It even looks like Overwatch. I mean, okay, it's probably been in development while Overwatch was in development, but Blizzard beat them to the punch, I guess. But they've got things in it, like shield walls and stuff, that just look like they've come out of Overwatch. It's like,
it really
what's going
does
on
look
here?
very, very similar.
Oh, it's very similar, and
Kind of worryingly similar. Like they do say that it's been in development for a year before. It's been in development for a year, so they started out making it before Overwatch was announced. But there are definite similarities, and the thing is, you can't really just sit there and go, "Oh, it's a blatant copy." But you can sort of see that perhaps there's been some sort of influence, maybe, from stuff they've seen in Overwatch. Like there's a few characters that look distinctly similar.
but then in their defense, you could say Overwatch is generic as shit. I mean, it is
Well, yeah,
generic.
There is
Blizzard
that.
stuff is generic, you know?
So you can see the characters here. We've got the dwarf man with the kind of
Yeah, and
blunderbuss
there's
rifle thing who puts
Yeah,
down the turret.
I mean, hang on, yeah, and who is that? That is exactly the same character in Overwatch, the dwarf
Yeah.
man with the blunderbuss who builds a turret. You've got what appears to be a goblin in a shredder. That is taken from World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
You've
we've
got some sort of tank guy. You've got what looks like a troll shaman.
yeah.
on
There's
the
a troll
side there,
shaman. There's
yeah.
also up here we've got a woman with a bow and a
Yeah.
little bird. It does look very similar. But it's kind of hard to tell. But it does look very similar. But the thing that's kind of getting me is I kind of have not a problem with Hi-REZ, but I do like them announcing a new game does kind of make me worry a little bit for, I guess, either the fate of the new game or the fate of the current game. I mean, Smite is their it's their staple. It's what they make their money off. Global Agenda did not do well. Tribes Ascend, they broke even just about what they've said. But it's the way they stop support of games that aren't doing well that is the problem. Like they're not exactly
Yeah,
upfront
so
about it.
What they did with Tribes of Sand is Hi-REZ were like, they tried I think it was Global Agenda and some other games, didn't really work. And then Tribes of Sand came out and was pretty good because everyone remembered Tribes, which was great. Tribes Ascend was and the natural evolution of it, this free to play online game where you could pay to unlock different I can't remember what they were called, like frame suits, like you could be the heavy guy, couldn't you, the fast guy and whatever. And then they started bringing out weapons and they brought out a plasma gun. Now in Tribes, a lot of it is based on guessing where your opponent will land.
Yeah.
Because to fire, like, I forget what the weapon's called, but to fire directly at somebody as they're moving really quick is extremely difficult because you get hit scan in the other type of FPS, and it's the one where the projectiles are delayed. I think hit scans when you fire it instantly hits, and that's like Quake or Unreal.
Yeah.
Hit scan weapon is like the lightning gun or something. I think. I'm just going to Google it. I don't want to sound like an idiot. Hit.
But there was definitely a delay between firing the projectile and the projectile hitting the target. So you couldn't just stick your cursor over someone, like put your crosshair over a guy's head and fire and have it instantly hit them.
Hit scan just means it instantly hits when you fire. Yeah, but a lot of the weapons weren't like that. There were a moving projectile, so you had to guess where they were going to land, like to hit. So it's pretty difficult. Then they brought out a plasma gun thing, which fires a plasma bolt but it would explode when it got near somebody. So it didn't actually. So well, obviously people got this because it was a pay to win weapon, and we're just firing it at everybody and like massacred everyone, and that started to cripple the game. But the game had loads of other problems as well. It was absolutely filled with hackers, like really bad. I played the game a lot, and you'd be playing the game and 80% chance there'd be a hacker in the game. I'm not even exaggerating there. It was pretty ridiculous. And yeah, I mean, the final nail in the coffin for me was that plasma cannon thing. It was just a joke, that was. But where did it go from there? Well, MOBAs got popular, didn't they? So they came up with a third-person MOBA called Smite. Now, Smite's a very good game. They made a good game. But what happened when Smite came out? Support was completely discontinued for Tribes Ascend. That was it. But the thing Hi-REZ are not a massive studio. So all they did was just took everybody from Tribes. I mean, I remember when Tribes was starting to die, they closed the Tribes forums down and just said, we're using Reddit now. Yeah, that's just so cheap. You know,
it was the way they did it. It wasn't like an announced discontinuation of support for Tribes. What it was a slow crippling of the game. So, you know, staff would be moved away from it. They'd have community managers that suddenly stopped posting. Then the forums shut down and it was only Reddit. And then instead of there being multiple people posting on Reddit, like representing Hi-REZ, there was one person. And then that one person, they just never responded to anything that anyone said. And then, like, the content patches had slowed. So it was like, I haven't got a content patch this time, but we do have a bug fix. And then it'd be like, guys, it's been like 4 months since the last patch. What's going on? And then you wait another month, you maybe get one other bug fix. And then there was just no patches. And it's like, it wasn't just kind of, there was no, like, there's no public statement of this game is not working. We cannot continue to support it because it is literally not worth it to support it. If we continue to support it, we will lose money. We will shut down. The game will shut down. It will be gone. Instead, it was just a slow trickle where everything ground to a halt and the community wasn't really told anything. And that's the problem I've got. Like, if it's not working for you, no one likes having to say, this isn't working, we're going to have to stop. Like, no one likes doing that. But when you've got people who've, like, put money into your game, I feel like you kind of owe them more than just a slow stop of support. You kind of deserve, they deserve to be told, we know you've paid money for this. We know you enjoy playing it. It's not working. We can't support this. We cannot continue to support this game because it's simply...
It's the issue you get with online games, though, isn't it? This is the thing. Like, if Tribes Ascend was just a box and you bought the box and you could just play it and host servers, to say, oh, okay, we're just discontinuing support for the game, you know, that happens all the time, doesn't it? With like single player games, I guess. You know, they just, you know, that's fine to leave it. But because this was such a, I mean, I remember the way to hire servers for Tribes. You couldn't just go to like a provider like Multiplay and buy a server. You had to buy the in-game currency and buy the server through the game. So you were just renting one of Hi-REZ's servers, which was fair enough, but they were terrible. And it meant it was difficult to do things like group purchases and stuff because a lot of communities of gamers get together and sort of, you know, fund servers. I mean, you could still do it, obviously, but it's just, I think it's just such a hammer blow when you enjoy an online game and suddenly it has no more support and that's it, it's dead. And this is like the age we're living with digital games. You know, the games get taken off Steam all the time and they're just no longer available. I think Deadpool was taken off. I don't think it came back, but it was taken off. And a load of other games just end. Like when the license agreement ends, that's it. They're gone and you never see them again. Tribes, though, wasn't a bad game, but as I say, they made bad decisions. They then moved on to Smite. Now, Smite was a massive success, and it is a massive success, okay?
Yeah.
Now their next game, this Battleborn thing, it looks quite smooth. It looks quite polished. It looks exactly like Overwatch. So I think they've just been unlucky. You know, nobody knew what Blizzard were making. Blizzard, though, you're making a game which is exactly the same as Blizzard, effectively. You're fucked. You're dead. You ain't going to be able to compete against them.
Yep.
So it's unlucky. They're going to have to come to market first to beat Overwatch, because if Overwatch comes out and then they come out, I think they will probably beat Overwatch, though. But what do they do with their old game? This is the big if.
Yeah.
Now, there's only one difference here with the Tribes and the Smite. It's money, really. Smite's making money. Smite has quite a big esports competition as well. Yeah, Smite is making money, so they will not discontinue it because they still want the money.
But then if Paladins comes out and that doesn't make money, but people have invested money into it, that will shut down. Like, that will go. Hi-REZ, you know, they historically, they do not support products that do not make a tidy profit. Which, I mean,
It's right.
It sounds like a stupid thing to say, because it's like it should be fairly obvious, but it's much more clear cut with Hi-REZ than it is with other companies, because they seem to be in that kind of strange middle ground where they're an independent developer slash publisher, but they only release their own games. But at the same time, those games like Smite has received a very big public following, so it kind of looks like it's almost like a game that should have been made by someone bigger than Hi-REZ, if that makes sense. It's like they're kind of in a weird middle point where they're not AAA, but they're also not like small one hit, like one title only studios either. So they don't have the manpower to support multiple games if one of those games isn't making anything. So, yeah, I mean, Paladins kind of has to do well. Otherwise, it just won't last.
Oh, Battleborn is the other game I was going on about, 2K. See, even that's dead similar. So I'm getting confused now. That's another one which is dead similar to like these TF2 Overwatch style games. But you're right. I mean, I'm looking at their website now. Hi-REZ, they've got Smite, they've got Tribes Ascend, they've got Global Agenda. The Global Agenda and Tribes Ascend are basically not supported anymore. Like they're just sort of got a minimal team just to make sure the game doesn't break, I guess. But there's no like major content coming out for it. Smite, there is. Everyone works on Smite at Hi-REZ, I'd say. And like you said, that's rightfully so, because that's where they make their money from. They are not a massive publisher, a massive developer of games. They can't have massive teams working on all these games, because it just comes down to who is going to play the games and are the games going to be popular enough. And I think they've just gotten lucky, and I think Paladins isn't going to do that well, even if it is a good game, because who it's going up against is just suicidal. You know, it's like, you know, you take a giant of any kind of sport and put them against somebody from a lower division, what's going to happen?
Yeah, I think it is genuinely just unfortunate timing. I think they probably could have scraped together enough for the different gameplay videos that they've got since Overwatch was released, but I think they'd also be suicidal to do so, because it would be literally chasing something that is bigger than you and has been developed for longer than you and has more eyes on it than yours. I think it is probably just a case of bad timing, but it's something to follow. But I kind of hope that it does okay, just because, you know, they won't support it if it's not, and that's going to be crappy for the people who do play it. And then again, would you play that over Overwatch? I don't know. I'd imagine some people will, but
well, they've like Hi-REZ they are, I guess, kind of a small company, but Smite has made them a much larger company. Like Smite is a very successful game, and I think any game developer will take Smite. But Smite has got a ceiling, you know, and maybe it's at the ceiling now, because you know who the big players are in MOBAs.
Yeah.
Smite, okay, it is different, so that is an excuse to try it. But again, you go back and look at Twitch. How many people are playing Smite? Not that many. But it still is successful for Hi-REZ. And I think it would still be okay for other companies. I mean, Gearbox is another good company to kind of throw in with these. I mean, Gearbox is a bigger company than Hi-REZ, I'd say. But they're, again, a company that had a game which was good, Borderlands, made a lot of money, and then have launched really shit games and appear to be suffering from it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be honest, I think it's one of those things where I no doubt will play Overwatch and not Paladins, but I'd give Paladins a go. If anything, I just want to know if it's really different to Overwatch or whether it is as similar as it looks. Because I feel like it's probably as similar as it looks, but there are definite just by
this little differences. I mean, it's got this card system where you could like select different abilities and God knows what, but it's an objective-based team shooter that looks exactly like Overwatch.
Yeah, with apparently a Team Fortress 2 bomb delivery mode where the bomb's on the car.
Yeah.
Deliver the car.
Which is what Overwatch has ripped off as well.
Yeah.
Because there's a video with Winston, the big ape, sitting on top of a car as it's moving around, and he's got like a big super ability where he puts a shield on it.
Yeah. Why do they call it?
This was what's that other game? What's that game? Set on like a tropical island. It was an FPS MMO. That looks like it as well. It had the guy who was
Firefall?
Yes, Firefall. Yeah. The guy who was the managing director was an idiot and spent loads of money on he just wasted money.
He had like a land bus. We played the beta for Firefall like 3 years ago or something, and I don't know where it's gone. I don't know what's happened to it. Is it still
still a thing?
Is it?
I don't know. I think they changed it. Crazy. They totally changed it, but Nobody could be playing that now, surely.
Yeah, it seems crazy that it's still going because it's like it's been around for God knows how long. Okay, so it was released on July 29th last year?
Yeah, but it was totally changed. That was after they got rid of the guy at the
Yeah.
top because he was an idiot. But yeah, it looks like Firefall. I think, look, listen, I think they're just unlucky Hi-REZ. Even like the art style that they chose, it just looks exactly like
Yeah.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
I mean, if it didn't look as like cartoony or whatever, it might be like, oh, okay, this.
But then again,
More dirty bombish, maybe.
That's kind of how Smite looked. They've just exaggerated
True.
a bit, so they're probably just sticking with what they're comfortable with. But unfortunately, Blizzard is also incredibly comfortable with cartoonish characters, so you've ended up with something that looks exactly the same. This is onto a different kind of release, though. This actually could be really good. This is somehow, I don't know how this happened. Steam accidentally leaked the queue page for the new Paradox Development Studios game, Stellaris, which is a grand strategy on a universal scale, as Paradox has called it. This could actually be really good, and there's a link from this Reddit post to another post that has various pictures from the page before it went down. So you can kind of see here, you've got this massive old map here with what looks like the Tesnid Confederation, Tesnid League, Kingdom of Yondarian or something, Themlar Union. There's some interesting screenshots in here, and it would appear that it's pretty much just a Paradox grand strategy in space, which, I mean, of all the companies that do, I was going to say of all the companies that do grand strategies, I'm just trying to think of another company that does grand strategies, at least on the same kind of scale level.
They're only like little smaller companies that you wouldn't really know of. You know, like Unity. Well, I guess no, like Unity of Command isn't really a grand strategy game. I don't know. They're the premier one anyway. Okay, so some of the screenshots you can see ship combat taking place. You don't see combat in Europa Universalis 4 or anything like that. You just see the model of like a guy on the map who is representative of your army, and it just sort of moves their army away. They might like poke at each other or something, but they don't. You know, I mean, Civilization's got far better combat animation going on. So that's interesting that that's in this, because maybe there will be some form of like 4X style combat going on or something. But this is ideal. I don't know why they haven't done this before. I know they had Sword of the Stars, which was terrible. And that was like had a lot of
that was bad.
Just literally taking like Crusader Kings or Europa Universalis or something and putting it in space instantly makes it appeal to me, because I do not care about medieval Europe. I do not care about Victorian Europe. I don't, or wherever the hell Europa Universalis. I don't care. That bores me because I just know nothing about it and I have no inclination to sit down and learn about it. This is why Rome Total War 2 was interesting to me, because it's fucking Romans. Everybody knows about Romans. It's why I don't care about Attila the Hun version of the game, because I don't care about Attila. It's harsh of me to say that, and people always say to me, well, Sty, you would enjoy a grand strategy game from Paradox. I'm just so daunted by the amount of learning required to actually play the game. It crushes me, and all these historical terms and everything. I feel like I'm completing an essay on something, and it turns me off. Sci-fi, though, you could say it's the same game, Star, you cabbage. You're just in space. You're looking at constellations instead of a map of Europe. But it's slightly different.
Yeah.
I can pick that up quicker.
It does make a difference for people. Like I'm the same as you. I've tried to play Crusader Kings. I've tried it a couple of times. And the setting for me doesn't draw me in enough to make me want to learn the game. That's just what it boils down to. It's like if I really sat down and hammered at it for a few hours, I've no doubt I could probably enjoy it. But it's not drawing me to even start doing that, which is like, that's quite a big hurdle to get round. I mean, it does look like this actually could be a bit different to stuff like that anyway. I mean, this guy's very helpfully managed to grab the text on the store page, which says, explore a vast galaxy full of wonder. Paradox Development Studio, makers of the Crusader Kings, I can't talk, and Europa Universalis series, presents Stellaris, an evolution of the grand strategy game with space exploration at its core. Featuring deep strategic gameplay, an enormous selection of alien races and emergent storytelling, Stellaris has a deeply challenging system that rewards interstellar exploration as you traverse, discover, interact, and learn more about the multitude of species you will encounter during your travels. etch your name across the cosmos by uncovering remote celestial outposts and entire civilizations. Will you expand through war or walk the path of diplomacy to achieve your goals? Main features are discovery events, emergent storytelling, deep and varied exploration, enormous procedural star systems containing thousands of planets, numerous playable species, each with their own traits and engineering styles, vast number of unique random species, advanced diplomacy system, ship designer, even civilian ships can be customized, and
So that is
stunning
like
space
Soil of the Stars.
visuals. Yeah. I hope it's better than Sword of the Stars, but
yeah, so this could be good though, because this is one of these moves that would draw a lot of people into their grand strategy games that would not generally play them.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, I'm sitting on the periphery of this. I want to play these games, but you give me a sci-fi version, I'll take that. You know, and I guess you're the same. I'm an idiot who would sit there on a massive fucking Sins of the Solar Empire map with loads of stars, building a massive empire just because I get off on it. I want to do that in more detail, you know?
I still do that. I still, like, every now and again, I load up Sins of a Solar Empire and I'll sit there for, like, 3 to 4 hours just playing it. And I rarely do anything different when I play it. Like, I've got a very kind of established playstyle for that game. But the setting and the ship combat and just the fact of what it is draws me into do it. So something like this is absolutely ideal because if you like sci-fi, you're going to be drawn in to give it a go at the very least. And given how many people keep telling us that these games are great, you know, if you're drawn in to play it and then you have a go at it and it turns out to be really good and it's in a setting you like, that's kind of the, you know, the great recipe, ain't it, for a popular and decent game. But I am a little...
also, Endless Space 2 as well. That was announced the other week. That could be quite good.
Yes. If they change up the ship combat a bit, that would be good.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Endless Space, but what would happen with Endless Space after a while is... you know, like Civ Beyond Earth, how you didn't care about the factions? That's what happened in Endless Space. You were just like... You didn't even really care who you were, but you just... You know, the ship combat was terrible because it was just... Well, there was no combat. You just went in and you played a couple of cards and hoped for the best. First couple of times you would watch the cinematic battle as the ships lined up and blasted at each other, and then you would just auto complete all the time because it's pointless to watch. It is meant to have better combat though. End of Space 2, so that'll be interesting.
Well, I mean,
and also if you look at Fallen, no, not Fallen Enchantress, that's Stardock. What was it called? Endless Legend.
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
If you look, there's like you can kind of see almost like an evolution between Endless Space and Endless Legend. They made a really good game with Endless Legend. I played Endless Legend.
They made good games on the Unity engine.
Yeah, a lot more than I played Endless Space. I mean, again, Endless Legend is a game where I've got like a massive save game that I still go back to occasionally. Where it's a bit of a deadlock and no one seems to be getting anywhere, but it's enjoyable and the combat in that. It might have been simplistic, but it was pretty good. Like it was a lot better than Endless Space's combat. So if they can introduce something similar to that into Endless Space 2, I would play that a hell of a lot. Like I really, really would. If they can put in the stuff like the customization stuff that you had from Endless Legend and kind of a similar, you know, a similar kind of tile grid system that they had, you know, whereby you can move your ships to different locations and that kind of thing, I would play that a lot. But yeah, I don't know. The Paradox one, it could be really decent. The only thing that's worrying is that it being sci-fi, I'll give it a go, but I kind of don't want it to be too complicated, just because that's something that has always put me off learning grand strategies in the first place. Like I'd be more inclined to try and learn it, but if it's insanely complicated, then
I don't think it will be. You know, I think that would be a bad managerial game director design decision to make it insanely complicated, because you would know that this is going to open up your grand strategy catalog to more people. I guess you could relate this to Games Workshop and their Age of Sigmar stuff, where it is a bit more simplistic to get into. Then you may want to move on to 40k or something, which is more complicated.
Yeah,
that's what I think they'll do. I think it'll be less hot. I mean, if it's on a galactic scale, I think it's going to be less harsh on the time restraints, because one of the things I've always had with their grand strategy games is they run out of time. You run out. You can't just endlessly go. Obviously, you're supposed to make a lot of moves and sort of tee stuff up to go. But because I'm like an idiot Civ player, I just want to go to the next turn. because that
Yeah,
advances the game to me. No, it
yeah.
sounds
No,
stupid, but
I'm exactly
I'll
the
keep
same. I'm
going
exactly the
on
same.
the next turn. But like a year's gone by, another year, 10 years, 20 years, and things change too quick. And I feel like I haven't done anything. I don't think I've done enough. I don't understand what I'm doing, and that's what really does me with a grand strategy game. So if this is more simplistic, then which I think it will be, because that makes sense,
Yeah,
and then maybe you would progress to their other more hardcore titles. But it
yeah,
is a good move, though. It's definitely a good move, I think.
yeah. It's gonna be something to look out for. But now that you've reminded me that Endless Space 2 is announced, I'm looking forward to that more, which is quite bad. But then again, I enjoyed Endless Legends so much. I think that's fair enough. I've got experience with those games, so I think we'll go for one last thing. We'll just touch on this because this is Elite Dangerous is getting an expansion. Now, the thing that makes this kind of interesting is this expansion is going to have stuff like landing on planets and stuff, but people have already complained about it. As it says here, Horizons will be sold for a rather steep 40 quid slash $60,
Yeah.
but it'll include the base Elite Dangerous game. Existing owners who might have paid as much as $60 when the game first released get a discount to a still kind of pricey 30 quid or $45, and free access to an exclusive ship, the Cobra Mark IV. Players who back the game in the Alpha and Premium beta stages get Horizons for free, as those funding tiers included the Lifetime Expansion Pass. This is just, I wanted to bring this up because you played Elite quite a bit. I played it quite a bit. Nowhere near as much as you, I think. I kind of played it, I only played it for about 2 weeks or so when we were
I
playing
played
it
it quite
together.
a lot, yeah.
Does this tempt you at all, Horizons, or do you think Elite's past now? Do you think it's gone?
I'll be honest, what tempts me more is the close combat module thing they've got.
Yeah,
So what this is, I think it's close combat championships or something like that. It's a dogfighting thing. I think you can only go in there with restricted ships, but you can dogfight the shit out of people. Now, why was Elite Dangerous? Why did I stop playing Elite Dangerous when really it is a good game? The ship is awesome to fly the ships. They're so good.
yeah,
Work great with the HOTAS, and I was loving it. But you're in a universe of basically you. There are other people around, but it's so big you don't see them,
yeah,
and everything is too fragmented. Like I could be in one area, Kiri could be in the same area as me, yet I don't see him because he's in his own instance of that area. You can now play together, so that's slightly better. You've got like the Wingman update is out now, but it still is a lonely game. What would I like to do in the game? I would have liked to have been somebody who is involved in combat.
yeah,
That's what I wanted to do. I don't want to go on massive logistical trips. I don't want to play Euro Truck Simulator in space. A lot of people do, and those are the hardcore players of Elite who will
yeah,
sit there and will make 60 jumps to some place and come back with like 10 million credits or something. I don't want that. I want to be. I'm after fast-paced action, like combat. I want to be. I want people to be able to hire me out for protection on their some sort of leg on their logistic trip.
yeah,
That's what I want. I don't want to be a cargo guy. I've got the Cobra Mark III, I think it is, the bigger cargo equivalent.
yeah,
I didn't really like flying it that much because it's not as maneuverable as like the Eagle, for example, or the Viper. I really enjoyed the Viper. I think you had the Viper. That
yeah.
was enjoyable. Is this making me think, holy shit, I want to play the game? Not really. I don't care about landing on planets. But like you said, the close quarter combat championship thing looks good because that will probably make me update the game and jump into that because I want to get into ship combat.
Yeah,
But again, that's going to take people out of the actual game because this is like an instant. It's almost like a WoW PvP battleground thing. You just go in and fight each other with restricted ships, so you can't fly around in an anaconda and wreck everyone because you're so massively powerful.
I think that's still looking at the features of this thing. I think it's still the game's biggest problem: the fact that you're in this big universe, but it feels like you're the only one in that universe. Like I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's still the biggest issue with this game. And granted, being able to just do like a battleground PvP thing, that's kind of cool, and I think I probably will check that out. But like you, landing on planets, I don't really care about, and it wasn't the lack of being able to land on planets that made me stop. It was the lack of seeing anyone else in the game ever. Like it was the fact that I could jump into Elite and go to a really well known spot for like farming NPCs and bounties and stuff, and still be the only one there, even though
So
like countless
I've
people
got
were talking
questions.
about it.
about this, which it doesn't actually explain. So, being able to enter the atmosphere of a planet, right? Elite is a game about exploration. People who like to explore, like, piss their pants over Elite because, yeah, I mean, you can just fly forever. Basically, it's a representation of the universe that's just endlessly generated. You can discover stuff, make loads of money doing it, and all that stuff. What happens though if you're involved in combat around the planet? Does this mean you could just dive into the atmosphere and escape the authorities? Does that mean they can chase you down into the planet and then suddenly you're flying around the terrain of the planet fighting? Or is it just going to be you get close to it, loading screen, now you're on a planet?
That would be really cool if it was the case, but like you say, it doesn't actually tell you that.
No. Oh.
Like, that could add an extra, like, genuine, exciting thing to the game, like an extra element to it, but it doesn't say really anything beyond. And the trailer for it is, well, it's just the ship landing on the planet. Like, you see it turn up to the planet and then it just lands on it, and that's the entire thing. It doesn't tell you anything. I don't know. I mean, I think I'll probably check the PvP out, but
I'll do a quick little recap of like bits of information that we've had from Gamescom. So Battlefront, they've got a fighter mode. So this is just, you can fly around in TIE fighters, TIE interceptors, TIE bombers. The Imperial transport thing looks to be some sort of objective on the video it shows you. X-fighters, X-wings, sorry, A-wings, God, all loads of shit is flying around. Looks all right to me. People have moaned and said, oh, it controls like shit, people who've played it. I don't know whether that's true or not. It looks fun to me, so I don't really care. Yeah. Quantum Break was a game which just looks like Gears of War
or second,
had a baby.
What is it, Infamous?
With Second Son
as well, yeah.
While watching The Matrix, basically.
Yeah.
And gone crazy on like also, bullet time style time effects.
Can I just say, the explanation for that game like struck me as being a bit crazy. It was like, my brother's gone back through time, so now I can control time. Like, that was the explanation for it, and I was like, I really hope that ends up being explained a bit better than that in the game, because if so, that's pretty weak. It's also for some reason doing that thing that games were trying to do about like 10 years ago or some shit. It's like, yeah, have a show that's also based, like, the game and the show are the same universe and they complement each other and stuff. I mean, wasn't the last one to try that Defiant, and that went Defiance, wasn't it? Was it Defiance?
Defiance was a sci-fi thing, yeah, where it had like a crappy MMO attached to the crappy series. It just was crap. Yeah. This is, I don't think it's not like that. The TV show's in the game. No, it's in the game. I think it's part of the game, isn't it?
It's actually part of the game. See, this.
I don't think it's like a series that you watch on the TV. I think it's part of the game. I'm pretty sure it is. It's like in the game. Quantum Break, the realization side, it was no, more than 2 years ago. Since Microsoft radically changed the approach to the toss and connect side, blah 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 blah. Later, Quantum Break, blah 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 blah. The show, right? It's got Peter Baelish in it, apparently.
So on Wikipedia, a Quantum Break live action series is also in production, with Remedy stating that how you play the game impacts the show, and the show informs how you play the game. So it is like Defiance. It is a separate thing where they're supposed to be like in some way connected.
Well, the way Defiance did it was what happened in the show changed the game, I think.
Yeah.
But the game was so shit nobody cared.
I don't know how that's going to work. I don't think that is going to work, frankly.
I think this is crap.
I think that's what the fuck is Microsoft's like major hard on for TV?
I don't know.
With anything, I don't get it. It's just stupid.
It's like when you look at the guy come on from like Microsoft, no, from platform development or something. It was like he had the most boring title ever, and he was like, "Hi, let's talk about TV. Oh, this is coming to Europe. Oh, you can DVR record anything.
Yeah,
it's like." I'm sitting there and I'm like, mate, I just watch fucking Netflix. I don't care about any of this shit. Go away.
No one gives a shit about being able to record from Xbox One. No one cares.
And most stuff will be, I bet it won't let you record it straight from the Xbox One. It'll be like the PlayStation 4 when it comes up with, you can't record this. It's protected, like 'cause it's a trailer to a game or something.
Yeah.
Which is really, really fucking immersion breaking, I've got to say. When you're watching an intro to a game and it goes, cannot, whatever, deactivated, game share deactivated. It's like, what? You could probably turn it off. I don't know how to use the fucking thing. It's too frightening to me. I don't go over there anyway because that's where that massive spider Ron lives somewhere.
Ron, I don't want him. Spider.
I call him Ron now, yeah, because he's. There was a spider by the door, and a bit. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's like a bit of acoustic foam over there, and it was over there, but now he's gone. So I can only assume Ron paid him a visit last night.
There was a spider in our living room this morning, but then the dog ate it, so it's fine. She likes spiders. She chases them, but she's a bit mean. She like punches them. Like what's they trying to run away? Like she smacks them with a paw, and then they'll pause, and she'll nudge it, and when it moves again, she'll smack it again. A little bit sadistic. But that's got nothing to do with Quantum Break. What else was at Gate? It was DVOs, Quantum Break, Tomb Raider. They showed a bit of Tomb Raider off. But because
which looked like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it looked more like Assassin's Creed than Assassin's Creed looks like nowadays. But I don't think that's going to be representative of the game because I keep saying the first one, the reboot Tomb Raider, it had like action set pieces where there was like a big fight, but it was like one big fight per half an hour to 40 minutes of gameplay, which was mostly puzzles and exploration and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm not too fussed about it, but I do hope they kind of make some effort to explain how Lara Croft went from fighting for survival in the first one
to
being
being like a hired gun murderer,
a fucking axe murderer in the second one who's perfectly okay with like garroting people and drowning them and shit because
and diving off tops of buildings and stabbing them in the jugular.
Yeah, it was very much a case of in the first one it was like, okay, well, these people are trying to kill me, so either I die or they die. And I'd prefer if they die, which is kind of like in that situation, you can kind of take that. I know it's only a game.
It was like a survival thing, wasn't it?
It was like a survival thing.
Yeah,
it was. You had to fight your way to safety, and there were people in the way, and they were going to kill you. So what are you going to do? This one was like she kind of got dropped off somewhere, and then there was a bunch of people around a fire, so she just like stabbed them and garroted them, and like put arrows in their skulls from like 2 feet away, and it was a little bit. It was a little bit different. Like the context kind of changes the way it appears. It kind of goes from I'm fighting to survive to oh yeah, watch him bleed, and it's like I hope they explain it better than than it came across in the trailer.
There was Mirror's Edge Catalyst. There was a gameplay clip of that, which
which looks like Mirror's Edge.
Right, so I think this was staged.
I'm gonna switch it over so people can watch it while you talk.
And I'm thinking that I can't see how it would be that fluid in the game because she is moving around. What's she called?
Faith.
Faith. She's running around, and she's going parkour mad, which is what the game's all about. But she's like swinging around pipes and like full on drop kicking people in the face and everything. And I find it hard that it would be that fluid in the game. If you were just running about and then thought, oh shit, there's a pipe, I can suddenly run to that and then kick the guy in the face. I don't like this gameplay clip was done so it looks really fluid. I can't see it being that fluid because it's going to be a bit like dodgy. You run past somebody, you're going to notice it's there, turn around, run back to him, and then suddenly you've got loads of power for a kick. I don't know, it seems weird. But
there will obviously have been like a lot of staging to make it look as good as possible. But something I will say is that although Mirror's Edge was kind of mixed reception, some people loved it, some people hated it, but for me it was genuinely very fluid when I played it. Like I don't know whether it was quite as fluid as it looks here, especially when you take into account that this has got like combat.
Well, there was no combat in either one, was there?
No.
Yeah.
But the actual animations and the free running and the way you control the character, whilst it was clunky, the animations itself and the way it looked actually looked pretty good. So it could be that smooth.
The movement, I think the movement is, but what I've just got an issue with the way she goes into combat with people, all these like drop kicks on people's face and like launching them through windows and shit. It's just like unless those NPCs are literally anchored to that spot and that's where you're going to attack them. Like there's a bit where she kicks a guy in the face, grabs a pole, it's near the end, she swings around a pole, kicks a guy in the face, and he goes through the window, and I think she like follows through, and then it slows down all cheesy so you can see a reflection, and she goes through the window. It's like I find it hard to believe that. I mean, you probably can do it in the game, but not like that fluid,
like not that smooth.
Yeah, I don't know. And there was also bits in that which you can see it's been done with the controller, and it would move the controller, but there were really obvious movements, and I think that was done to try and con people into thinking, oh, this is actually a live gameplay demo, but I don't think it is. I think it's like really dodgy marketing, like clever, like, oh, look at this, how we're organically running about. You may see it if you're watching the trailer, but at some points where it does just change. I don't know, maybe I'm just being skeptical, but I think it'll be an enjoyable game. I don't know why it's got combat in. I don't think it needs combat because Faith was just like a mail delivery woman. That's what she really was.
I think they're
now
just
she's
trying
kicking
to
the shit out of
add
people.
that extra element, whether it needs it or not. That's another matter entirely. But I'd imagine it's probably down to a lot of people. I didn't like in the first one the fact that it felt like I was always running away. I know that was the point, but it was like occasionally you just like, if I could just punch this guy, this would be so much better. Like I just, it's one dude. It's what you're telling me. This kind of ultra fit, like free running nutter who can do these incredible athletic things couldn't just kick this guy in the head. You're telling me you can't do that? It was kind of frustrating. So, but then again, it depends how much combat they put in. If it's just like every level is just nothing but kicking people in the mouth as you jump off a wall.
I think one of the things, like in that video, it shows you she's forced to escape. So then that's fine. But if you can just attack people whenever you feel like, that's going to take a lot of the like with Mirror's Edge, you would have to avoid guards. You could just run around at them, but maybe in this you can just decide to run at them and fucking fight 5 of them and run off. It's like, well, that's going to make it a bit less. It was almost like it was almost like a stealth game, really, like but you were really quick. That's kind of what it was like. I don't know. There was Halo 5 news, which I don't care about. So moving on. There was
I prefer Celebrity MasterChef.
Yeah, Lloyd Grossman for the win. And I think, to be honest, that's kind of... Oh, there was a Battlefield 4 night operations thing where it's just Battlefield 4 at night.
Oh, yeah.
Which, to be fair, looks pretty good, actually.
And
you know what? I haven't played Battlefield 4 for ages.
No.
I bet that's quite good now, you know.
And what is it? Mojang are randomly publishing some game called Cobalt.
Oh, that doesn't look very good at all.
But that was just like, why is Mojang publishing that? I don't... Like, Mojang are owned by Microsoft. Why are Microsoft not just publishing these games? Why is Mojang specifically publishing this when Mojang are...
I'm sure they were making that game for a few years, you know, because I'm sure I remember Notch going on about that.
Oh, so it is actually... See, I thought it wasn't being produced by Mojang. I thought it was being produced by someone else, but if it is, that makes a lot more sense.
I just Googled Notch Cobalt, and I've got August 2011 from VG247, and it says... Yeah, and it's a Cobalt teaser trailer in 2011. So
it's taken that long to build that.
I don't think it looks very good.
Hang on,
I'm going to be
developers are Oxeye Game Studio and Fat Shark for Xbox 360 and Xbox One on Wikipedia.
Weird then.
Maybe
they were trying to be a publisher.
Published by Mojang. I mean, that was just right. It didn't look great. It just looked like a kind of multiplayer side-scrolling thing. It didn't.
Which actually, on the EA thing I watched, they showed Unravel off, and I know I laughed at that. And because I think it is cheesy with this little doll, where the guy explained it at E3, where he was walking through the woods all nonchalant one day, and then he was like, "I made my little Yarny. It became my friend." It's like, oh dear, mate. But that actually looked pretty good. It's quite a nice little physics platformer thing.
I think we said at the time, it's like it looks okay, but it's the way that kind of stuff is presented that puts me off.
Hipster indie
like,
shit.
If someone comes on the game, it's like it comes on the stage and goes, "I had this idea where it was like this kind of like little wool guy, and it's going to be integrated into the physics of the game, and you use it to solve puzzles and so on." I'll be like, "Yeah, that sounds good." But if you come on and you get the poor guy who clearly does not want to be on the stage and is nervous as hell, and it's like, I made a little Yarny and his hands are shaking, I'm just like, get the guy off the stage, okay? And get someone on who can explain it, because this isn't what I want to say. It's just like, I know it sounds harsh, but it's like, I want someone to like tell me what the game is and not tell me how they're walking through the woods with a small doll. I don't want that. It's like, sorry.
Well, but he's telling the hipster tale bloke. When the presentation at Gamescom, when he came out, first thing he started talking about was pictures on Twitter of people who've made their own Yarny. And he's like, I really love people's creativity. Everyone's making their own Yarnies and sending us pictures of their Yarny. And I thought, oh no, here we go again. But then he just went straight into a gameplay demo and it looked all right. But like, what I'm doing is just trying to compare that to Cobalt, which isn't really a fair comparison, because Cobalt looks like, it looks like that Paradox game.
Yeah.
The gun thing. What was that called? It was done like an 80s action show thing. It just looks like that.
Yeah, it does.
They're like throwaway games. They're like games Devolver Digital will publish, which is like a throwaway game and nobody cares about. Which actually, Enter the Gungeon looks fucking quality off them. That is, it's Binding of Isaac but with guns, and it looks way better. It's like a next-gen Binding of Isaac. It looks
Yeah,
really good, that does. I have no doubt Northern Lion will be fucking making a billion videos on it. There was another game...
episode 692 soon.
Yeah, the day after launch. There was a load of other games as well. Little indie games, which looked pretty good. Surprisingly good, and didn't look like trash indie generic shit, which really does my head in.
Something that again, it's going to sound like I'm being harsh, I'm not meaning to, but one of my all-time pet peeves for stuff like this is when they bring out people who aren't comfortable to talk about the game. In Microsoft's bit for Gamescom alone, there were multiple...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there were multiple,
on the stage.
There were multiple guys who, like, what I think one of the guys, English obviously wasn't his first language, so he was struggling to actually read what was on the teleprompter. The other guy, I don't know whether the teleprompter collapsed or something, but he kind of lost track of what he was saying and had to start again. I know people want that kind of heartfelt, this is the guy who made the game, it's all about the passion kind of thing. But at the same time, I want to come away from a presentation knowing what the thing is. Like, knowing what to expect, knowing what the game is, knowing, who it's made for, what the features are. And a lot of the time you don't get that because the guy they've pushed onto the stage to, like, tell you about it doesn't want to be there. It's like they might want to talk about the game. If you get them in a room with, like, 4 other people and go on, mate, tell us about your game. And they could probably talk for hours and tell you everything you need to know. But for, like, they're basically told, get on that stage for 5 minutes, don't flub your words, tell everyone what it's like. Oh, by the way, this is the first time you've done public speaking. It's going out to hundreds of thousands of people. Off you go. And of course, they get on the stage. They're like, sorry. And I feel bad for them, but also it's like, as someone who is interested in what's going on, it's just incredibly frustrating. It's like at E3 when they wasted
I think for me
so
and you
much
as
time
well,
with
though.
Pele. It's like, oh, for
yeah.
God's sake,
With the speaking thing, though, for me and you, because we're so used to talking into microphones and doing whatever. Obviously, it's different getting on a stage and doing it in front of people, but you sort of get, you almost like analyze what they're doing, and you're like, mate, you crap what you're doing. You shouldn't be talking like, you're not engaging us.
Yeah.
But it goes either of two ways, doesn't it? You either get the really awkward guy who comes out, or you get the stupid fucking ultra scripted executive comes out and just blabs crap at you, and you just don't care. I mean,
I'm
the
looking
best
for
thing
the
on the
happy
EA
middle
conference,
ground.
the best thing on the EA conference was the FIFA presentation, right? The guy who comes out talking about FIFA was crap. I don't care about him. He's just telling us about shit about FIFA. I don't care. Then they showed a little bit with Gary Neville and Carragher, who are the pundits from Sky. And that was really, if you like football, that was really good because it was them pair sitting down. They hate each other. One of them played for Man United, the other one played for Liverpool. They hate each other, and they're sitting there and they're like trying to pick a team, and they're like having an argument with each other. And Carragher's like, "Oh, we've got to get Gerrard in," and Neville's laughing at him because Gerrard's like an old man and he's shit. We don't want him in the team. We're going to get somebody, and it was actually quite good. That was, and I thought that's much better than like Pele. Because nobody cares about Pele. He's an old fart. But this was much better. And, I even tweeted about it. I was like, that was pretty funny. Like, but that kind of thing's good because if you're really into football, you'll know who they are. And let's face it, most of FIFA's probably sold in the UK, 1 billion copies. So that's fine. And actually, talking about other games, there was Pro Evo. A guy came on from Pro Evo, and it showed the new Pro Evo off, which uses the Metal Gear Solid 5 engine. So it looks dead good. Like, it looks way better than FIFA. And Pro Evo always gets shitted on. But that was the best football game I ever played. Pro Evo 06. Fucking hell.
Things that just
that was
can't
amazing.
Compete with FIFA, can it? It's like...
No, it's the thing like with the Hi-REZ game and Overwatch. It'll be, won't it? Where Paladins versus Overwatch, where you just can't compete with them. The problem with FIFA have just got all the money because it's EA. They've got all the sales, and more importantly, the licenses. PES, the only license they got was the UEFA Cup or something. And some like random teams, because you get like Man Red, do you, in PES and shit like that?
Man Red, Man Blue.
Have the team names,
It's like it's the same
London
with
Blues, which
it's
I
the
think
same
is
with
Chelsea.
like kind of almost like budget racing games. Like you look at Forza and you look at Gran Turismo, and you've got like all the big names and some all these supercars and stuff. And then you get poor whatever company it is, and they've produced car racing game number 12, and you got something that looks vaguely like a Lamborghini, but it's not quite a Lamborghini, and it's called like a Lamborghini or something, and it's like got some kind of really shit name. It's like, why would you play that over?
I
used
used to play this shit out of Gran Turismo on my PS1, man. Holy shit. Anyway, let's end Hotfix, man, because we turned into a podcast discussion here at the end. We should go and do podcast.
The dog, you said let's end Hotfix, and the dog went, she agrees. So once again, if you enjoy Hotfix and want to support Hotfix, link is up there. It's also down there. If you up your Patreon, or if you sign up to Patreon and give us something per month, which would be awesome. Then you get a shout on the next Hotfix. And as always, you should come back at 2 o'clock on Saturday, where you will find the pubcast, which is like kind of more of this, but about games and increasingly just any old stuff that we end up talking about, which is fine. We're happy with it, as long as you are. So come back on Saturday. We'll see you next week for this again.
Oh, yes.
Toodaloo!
Toodaloo!